So what you're looking at is a simple example. So what you're looking at is a simple example of understanding your core, right? This is your core, and if you're a curious reader, you'll realize that this circle has a lot of connection. Okay, so here I wrote why, I wrote here how, and then I wrote here what, and that is connected to Simon Sinek. Start with why. That is how these three are connected, right? And then here I talked about identity, process, and outcome, and that's connected to James Clear. James Clear's book, that's the Atomic Habits. When you read it, you understand what I'm talking about. And here we have the circle of control, the circle of influence, and the circle of concern, right? Let me connect them together, right? So with that, these two, these ones, they are Stephen Covey's work, and then we have purpose, mission, and then vision. This is from Myles Munroe. Now, all of this, how am I able to blend this together? All of these are still talking about the same thing. They are still talking about the same thing. What do I mean? They are talking about the aspect of growth. When you want to grow, you actually have to start from the inside. James Clear, his own theory was that you want to develop new habits, you have to start from changing your identity before you can go to the processes, and then you'll get the outcome, which is the habit. That's James Clear. Stephen Covey, circle of control. He said when you focus more on what you have control over, you would be able to influence things you don't have direct control over, and then boom, influence things, or you may not even get that much affected by things that you don't have direct control at all. Okay, so he's the one who talked about direct, right, indirect, and no control. That's Stephen Covey's work. You can check it out in 7 Habits. And then Start with Why is by Simon Sinek. Why leaders start with why. He talked about whenever you have a big why of why you do something, you are able to grow. That's why Apple is growing massively, because they started with why, right? They started with why. There was nothing else they did apart from starting with why. And then we have the how. When you know your why, when your why is clear enough, it's easy for you to figure out the how. And when your how is good, what you do now matters. Like what you do now makes sense. So Apple, for example, their why is they want to innovate in every industry they get into. So how they go about innovating is Apple iPhone, Apple iPad, everything they do is basically innovative. And that brings them to what exactly they do, which is, the Apple iPhone itself and all of that. Now, going down to Myles Munroe was talking about purpose, mission, vision. And purpose, mission, vision is that your purpose is what you are sent to this world to do, right? Then your mission is how you're going to go about achieving that purpose. Then the vision is the physical, like, template, the physical template of what that is going to look like. Now, let me give you an example. Say you want to build a house. The purpose for you building that house would be so that you can live inside. That's the purpose, right? That is now a purpose. Now you cannot just say you want to build a house, right? How are you going to go about building the house? Now that is the mission. Now decide how you're going to go about building the house. Do you want to start with a surveyor, all those processing, and then when you're done, it is after that you can now draw a house plan, which now becomes the vision. Make sense? So without this, without you starting from inside, going outside, there will always be an issue. If you try to start from outside inside, it can never work. Can never work. And so that takes us to this table here. That's why you see this table. So we have the control. This is just basically from the inside out, right? It is just basically from the inside out. So we have the control, as this is all the inside, right? This is your core, right? Your identity, why you were sent to this world, that is your purpose, and then the things you have in your circle of control. And when you expand that, it now becomes things you can influence indirectly through your actions, and then your processes, how you go about doing things, which is still the how, which is still your mission. And this now becomes, the outcome, what you do, your vision, you know, this is it. So, but I still have something here to show you.